Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this topic, I will mainly solve some previous year questions from CSR NET and GATE on EPR or ESR spectroscopy. EPR, that is electron paramagnetic resonance, and ESR, that is electron spin resonance. Both these terms signifies the presence of unpaired electron within a molecule. Though questions is not asked in each and every successive year in CSR NET or GATE examination, but it may come at an interval of 1 or 2 years in CSR NET or GATE. And you can see that there are very few videos which describes about the questions of previous year CSR NET or GATE examination on EPR and ESR spectroscopy. So watch this video carefully, and if you are new in this channel, then please subscribe to my channel and share to it with your friends. So let's start. This question was asked in June 2017 for 4 marks. From the question you will see that it is a very easy question, but there is some trick in the question. If you read the question carefully, then you will see the trick. It was given that R3 germanium whole 2 on photolysis gives a radical which shows EPR spectrum. Now the ESR signals carrying the signature of germanium 73 are in terms of. That is, from the question we can say that we have to calculate the number of signals which will carry the signature of germanium 73. It signifies that the signals for EPR spectrum will arise only for germanium, not for this R group. That means we have to calculate the number of lines appears in the ESR spectrum for germanium 73, for which I is equal to 9/2. In the question, from the question, when it undergoes photolysis, it will generate a radical, and since this is a radical, it will show EPR spectrum. From the formula of number of signals in ESR spectrum is equal to 2ni plus 1. N is equal to number of nuclei and I is spin quantum number. Now since in the radical there is only one germanium nucleus, so N is equal to 1, and I for germanium it is given as 9/2. So putting this value we will get 10 lines. So thus EPR signals will contain 10 lines. So option B is the correct answer. This question was asked in December 2019 for 4 marks. In the question it is given that for an octahedral copper 2 complex depicting axial EPR spectrum for which G parallel is greater than G perpendicular, we have to identify the geometry of copper 2 plus complex and the orbital containing the unpaired electron. Now before solving the question we have to know what is G factor. Now in EPR spectrum the G factor arises due to orientation of electron density in a orbital along the applied magnetic field. Now for a free electron the G value corresponds to 2.0023, and in complexes there arises new term which is G parallel and G perpendicular. If the applied magnetic field is along Z axis, then G parallel depends on the electron density along the Z axis, and G perpendicular depends on the electron density along the XY plane, that is perpendicular to the Z axis. And for this the G perpendicular and G parallel, that is along parallel to Z axis, that is along the applied magnetic field. That is, the G factor is proportional to electron density. Since in the given question it is given that for copper 2 complex, G parallel is greater than G perpendicular, that is the electron density along the Z axis is greater than along the perpendicular axis, that is along the xy plane. Since copper 2 is T2G6 Eg3, that is this is dx square minus y square, here 2d orbital is used in the Eg case, Eg symmetry, dx square minus y square and dz square. Since G parallel is greater than G perpendicular and copper 2 is showing Jahn-Teller distortion due to unsymmetrical filling of the Eg orbital, so it will divided into 2d orbital, and G parallel is greater than G perpendicular, that means electron density along the Z oriented orbital will be greater than perpendicular orbital, that is dx square minus y square orbital. So 2 electron will be in dz square orbital and the unpaired electron will be dx square minus y square, since we have to fill 3 electron in this 2 orbital. That is, the unpaired electron is staying in the dx square minus y square orbital. From the question it is asked that we have to say that in which orbital the unpaired electron stays and the geometry of copper 2 plus, that is tetragonally distorted, tetragonally elongated or tetragonally compressed. Since 2 electron is in dz square orbital, so the axial ligand will feel steric repulsion, electronic steric repulsion along the z axis, and it will show tetragonally elongated, that is it will elongate along the z axis. So the complex will be tetragonally elongated and the unpaired electron will stay in dx square minus y square orbital. So the option number A, tetragonally elongated and dx square minus y square, is the correct answer. Is it okay? Now let's go to the third question. This question came in GATE 2017 for 1 mark. It is quite similar from the previous one, questions of G parallel and G perpendicular. In this question it is asked as the characteristic feature of an electron spin resonance spectrum of frozen aqueous solution of copper sulfate .5H2 at 77 Kelvin. Now this complex copper sulfate 5.5H2O, it is a well-known compound, and this copper 2 complex will show Z out distortion. That is, since it is D9 system, it will be Jahn-Teller active, and this complex shows Z out distortion. Now for Z out distortion, the unsymmetrically filled Eg orbital will be divided into 2 d orbital, and since Z out, so dz square orbital will be electron rich than the dx square minus y square orbital. So we have to say that which relation between G parallel and G perpendicular is correct for this case. Now due to greater electron density in the dz square orbital, G parallel, that is oriented along the z axis and depends on the electron density along a orbital, will be higher than the G perpendicular, that depends on the electron density along the xy plane, and since dx square minus y square is less electron dense than the dz square orbital, so G perpendicular will be less than the G parallel. So the option number A is the correct answer. The next question was asked in GATE 2019 for 2 marks. It is a very easy question. We have to identify the number of lines for methyl radical and their relative intensity ratio. Now the methyl radical is like this. It is sp2 hybridized and one unpaired electron is oriented along a p orbital. This radical will couple with the spin of this hydrogen nucleus. Since for hydrogen nucleus I is equal to spin quantum number is equal to half, the number of lines for this methyl radical will be according to the 2ni plus 1 rule. So the value for n is equal to 3, since 3 hydrogen is here, and I is equal to half, and the number of lines will be 4. Now since the I value is equal to half, the intensity ratio will follow the Pascal triangle rule, and for quartet peak the intensity ratio will be 1:3:1. So the option number 4, option number D is the correct answer. The next question was asked in very recent year. It is asked in GATE 2020 for 2 marks. We have to calculate the number of G parallel lines expected in the APR spectrum of a solution of bis salicylaldimine copper 2 having pure copper 63, nitrogen 14 at 77 Kelvin. It is a numerical answer type question, so there is no option given here. Now from the question it is given that we have to calculate the number of G parallel lines. Don't get confused with this term G parallel lines. We have to calculate as usual the number of lines for this copper complex. Now we have to know the structure of bis salicylaldimine copper 2 complex. This is the structure of bis salicylaldimine copper 2 complex. Here the central copper ion is attached to 2 oxygen which are magnetically or EPR inactive, and it is also attached with 2 nitrogen atom which are EPR active. Now before solve the number of lines arises in the EPR spectrum for this complex, we have some knowledge about a rule which is known as Drago's rule. In Drago's rule it is told that if a magnetically active nuclei is attached to another magnetically active nuclei, then the lines arises for this metal ion is split by this magnetically active nuclei. But if another magnetically active nuclei is attached to this center, then this magnetically active nuclei cannot split the lines arises for the central metal ion. On the other hand, if this magnetically active nuclei is attached to a magnetically inactive nuclei and to which another magnetically active nuclei is attached, then the second magnetically active nuclei, that is if here is attached any hydrogen atom, then since oxygen is magnetically inactive and hydrogen is magnetically active, this hydrogen nucleus will split the lines arises for the central metal ion. Now from this structure we can see that since nitrogen is magnetically active, oxygen is magnetically inactive and carbon is magnetically inactive, so these 2 nitrogen will split the lines arises for copper 2 plus, and these 2 hydrogens cannot split the line since it is attached to a magnetically active nuclei. On the other hand, these 2 hydrogen atoms will split the line arises for the copper 2 plus since these are attached to a magnetically inactive carbon center. Since this is a 1, 2, 3 center interaction, though the interaction will be weak, but it can be seen in the EPR spectrum since it is a 1, 2, 3 centered interaction. Now keeping this condition or keeping this idea in mind, we can calculate the number of G parallel lines arises for this complex. Now since it is D9 system, it will contain one unpaired electron. This unpaired electron present on the copper center, and it will split by the I value of copper following the 2Ni plus 1 rule. That line will be further splitted by these two equivalent nitrogen nucleus following the rule of 2n number of nitrogen, I of nitrogen plus 1, and these lines will not split by these two hydrogen nucleus but will be split by these two hydrogen nucleus since these are attached to a magnetically inactive nuclei. And for these two hydrogens, the lines will be splitted by 2NCH, that is the hydrogen atom attached to carbon center, IH, I value for hydrogen plus 1. If we put the value for these different parameters, we can see that number of copper is 1, I value for copper is given as 3/2, I value for nitrogen is 1, and I value for hydrogen is half. So putting this value, and for nitrogen there is 2 nitrogen atom, so N equal to 2, for IN is equal to 1 and plus 1, and CH there is 2 CH hydrogen atom attached to carbon, for I value for hydrogen is half plus 1, and if we calculate carefully then we can see that the number of lines is 60. So the answer of the question is 60. Is it alright? Okay. So that's all for this video. In this topic I have discussed about some previous year questions on CSIR NET and GATE examination from 2017 to 2020 on EPR or ESR spectroscopy. If you like my video, then please share it and subscribe to my channel. In the next video I will solve some previous year CSIR NET and GATE questions on HRMS spectrometry. Thank you.